Hi everyone, welcome to the Word at One from Monday, November 8th. So Mondays are going to be Mondays with Matthew. We are going to work our way through the Gospel of Matthew, about 3 or 4 verses at a time, to talk about the life of Christ, so the life of God incarnate coming to earth, and a little bit about what he did on the earth. We know that there are so many things that he did that could be chronicled for years and years and years, but the Gospels are these accounts of Jesus's life on earth. So with Mondays with Matthew, we'll have Tuesdays with the prophets, Wednesdays in the Psalms, and try to connect how all these different parts of Scripture really point to who Jesus is. So we're going to start with Matthew chapter 1, verses 1 through 3. And you're going to hear the word genealogy, and don't lose me with that. Don't leave me when you hear the word genealogy, because I know probably think to themselves, oh, it's just a list of names, which it is. But genealogies also have a lot to say about the theological and the physical reality of who Jesus is. So Matthew chapter 1, verses 1 through 3. A record of the genealogy, remember, stay with me, of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham was the father of Isaac, Isaac the father of Jacob, Jacob the father of Judah and his brothers, Judah the father of Perez and Zerah, which is a group of twins, whose mother was Tamar, Perez the father of Hezron, Hezron the father of Ram. Now, a little note on these names. Probably the people who actually know how to pronounce them are long gone or a whole lot smarter than me. And so I'm just going to say these names the best that I can throughout this whole genealogy. You just say it with confidence. That's the key. So in these names, what we see is a couple of things. So Jesus is tied back to King David, which was the greatest king in Israelite history, one of the last kings to rule over a united kingdom. The descendant of David to come was going to be the Messiah, was going to have his rule forever and ever and ever, and then connected even further back to Abraham. And Abraham was called out of a foreign land to come to a place, and God promised him he would receive a homeland and he would have descendants. Of course, at the time he had neither, but God provided all of those for the years to come. But in his descendants, in Abraham's own family, there is difficulty and strife. We see 2 sets of twins in this family. We see Jacob and Esau, which is a bit of a problem in terms of what happened with Esau's birthright. So they kind of had always been fighting really their whole lives. They were very different. Esau gives up his birthright. Jacob receives it, has to flee, but Jacob becomes the father of the 12 tribes of Israel. And then we see this other set of twins with one of the few women who are mentioned, their mother, Tamar, this other set of twins in the tribe of Judah. And that came about because her father-in-law did not do right by her. And so through a basically inappropriate relationship, these twins were born and they become the descendants of the Messiah. So in the first 3 verses of Matthew, we see family strife within even sets of twins themselves. We see a woman mentioned, which is unusual. In genealogies, usually it's only the men who are mentioned. And we see that this genealogy is placing Jesus in a historic, true, physical moment that we can trace where he came from. So just like you and me, tracing our family lines back to your probably great-grandparents, maybe you can do it even beyond. These first verses of the gospel establish that Jesus truly was. He was truly human in every way, shape, and form, connected to the people of God, from Abraham to David to Isaac to Jacob to Judah to all the way down. Jesus is connected through these generations, and he is going to redeem the things that have been dysfunctional, the things that have gone wrong. Because God uses us, even when there is difficulty and dysfunction, he uses us and he redeems it. So this story of this genealogy, as we continue through it, is a story of establishing who Jesus was. He did exist, he does have this line, and he's going to redeem even the difficulty in his own family as a picture of redeeming each one of us. We'll see you tomorrow as we look at one of our first prophets.